So we'll get started here. So this is all about kind of our new product. We just created a new product, a new final expense product called Insured Legacy Final Expense. It came out on Sunday, and so we have made the transition in our shop from the old product to the new product. So this is the one that's available now. But before I get into that, just a little bit of background about Royal Neighbors. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Royal Neighbors, but we're a fraternal, not for profit organization. So that means all the dollars we make kind of go back into the community. We have 1.2 billion in assets in an A-rated company rating from AM Best. So solid numbers. We were founded in 1895, so 130 years old. One of the main metrics that we kind of measure ourselves by is this social good number. And last year we did 24.5 million in social good. That means those are dollars that just go straight back into the community. So those are the things we kind of pride ourselves on a little bit. And then I'm not sure if you guys know anything about our member benefits or not, but as a fraternal organization, we have kind of a member benefits package that goes along. So when you buy a policy or sell a policy for us, you are a member of Royal Neighbors, and with that comes things like prescription savings plans and preventative health plans and free wills, and there's just like a whole little package. So if you're not familiar, I encourage you maybe go out and take a look, kind of see what's out there. It might be beneficial to you. Maybe it'll help you guys sell on the back end or not, kind of up to you. So that's just a quick snapshot about us, Royal Neighbors. So now I kind of get into why we're here today. So this product, when we started this product it was about a year ago now. We really wanted to try to get a lot of feedback from the agency force, from you guys, from distribution. So we rounded up, I don't know, half a dozen to 10 agents kind of across distribution, across IMOs, and we created what we called an agent advisory board. And we tried to really listen and hear the pain points and the things that really drive agents nuts and things that you guys don't like. And we really tried to work together with that group to fix some things that maybe, weren't so great on the prior product. One of the things that kind of came through is in the middle of an app, a lot of times, if we don't have something for every customer, then you guys have to pivot to, another carrier mid-app and kind of start all over. And that's kind of an annoying thing. So one of the first things we started setting about to do here was trying to be a one-stop shop for every customer for this kind of product, right? So in the past, we had the standard and we had the graded death benefit classes. Well, we've added a little bit on the risk spectrum to both ends of that now. So we're adding a preferred class for the healthy risks on one end and a guaranteed issue for the not so healthy risks on the other end. So now we have the full spectrum, and we'd like to think that we can at least make an offer to every customer. They might not choose it, they might not want it, but at least we have something that we can offer everyone. Okay. On top of that, being able to customize the coverage a little bit more. We were a little short on riders. We heard that loud and clear. In the past, we had the accelerated death benefit rider only. And so we've added 3 new riders to kind of help customize this product for the agency force and for the clients. So we added an accidental death, a grandchild, and a charitable giving. And I'll get into, kind of the ins and outs of those in the next couple slides. But hopefully the package together is kind of like I said, our goal is to kind of make it a one-stop shop for agents. So I'm hoping that we at least came close to accomplishing that goal. All right, so here is our base product and the different classes across the board. So we have preferred, standard, graded, and guaranteed issue, and you can see the ages and faces there. So the standard is 50 to 85, 5,000 to 40,000 for face. So we did add back in our upper ages on some of these cases. So on the prior product, we went from 50 to 80, so we went back up to 85. And our top face amount was 30,000, so we bumped that up to 40,000. So we did, and also we kind of actually lowered the minimum as well. I believe that was 7, so we took that down to 5. So added in ages and expanded face amounts was kind of what we tried to do with the base plans here. Now you can see starting on the left in the preferred that we don't have the very top end ages and we don't have the very bottom face amounts. It was just kind of a risk selection decision that we made as far as who can get that preferred class and who can't. So it is out there, and those preferreds are pretty darn competitive. I think if you get a chance to look those through, and I have a slide on that later. But so that's the kind of group that's going to be offered preferred, and then kind of going down the list for the graded. 50 to 85, 5 to 20, and then the modified death benefit, which we've had in place for a long time on that product. And then going down to the guarantee issue, that one goes down to 50 to 80, and 3 to 10. And then we return premiums in the first 2 years, and then the full face after that. Okay. As far as those 4 riders go, so we have all the riders available everywhere except the accelerated death on the guaranteed issue. We just didn't really think it made sense to accelerate those small of amounts down on that end. So we did not put that on that product. So otherwise, all the riders are available everywhere else. So that's kind of the base plan. Now let me kick over here to the riders. All right, so these 2 riders, I'm sure these are our 2 premium paying riders. I'll get to the 2 free riders on the next slide. Accidental death, I'm sure you guys are super familiar with. This is just a relatively normal accidental death rider that everyone's familiar with. There was a lot of the agents asked for this a lot of desire to have this on the product, so we went ahead and put this on here. The minimum face amount is 5 on all the products except for GI, which is 3. And then the upper end of the face amount goes to wherever the base certificate is. And again, you guys can see that here on the 40, 40, 20, 10 level. Okay. It is have a premium. Accidental death is a pretty cheap rider. If you've ever priced one out, I think you're probably aware of that. So nothing really super exciting, but that's just a plan that it seems like a lot of people were asking for. So we went ahead and threw it on the product. The grandchild rider, that's a little different. It's kind of cool. When I was going out to look at our competitors, I saw 3 or 4 kind of unique forms out there, designs, and I kind of grabbed what I liked a little bit out of each one of them. So I'll explain what's on the grandchild rider. So first of all, it's available on all the ages. It covers every child for $5,000. And the premium is $60 annually. Now, it covers as many grandchildren as you have or will ever have. You don't have to go and give us their name and their social security. If they're alive and they're a grandchild, they're covered at time of the insured death. So they don't even have to be alive when you issue the policy, just as long as they're alive when the insured passes away. So it can cover 1 to 100 as many as you want. There's no limit to the grandchildren. It also covers step grandchildren. It does not cover children or great grandchildren though. So just the grandchildren. And there's also a couple kind of cool conversion options that are available. And so every one of those grandchildren will get a chance if they want to convert that policy over to a paid up policy that they can kind of keep forever, no matter how their underwriting situation is. So lots of conversion options available as well as on that one. All right. All right, and then we come to our 2 non-premium paying riders, so our free riders. I'm going to start with the accelerated death benefit. That one is the same as it's been for a while for us. So it's a one-time payment up to 75% of the death benefit, terminal illness or permanent confinement to a nursing home to be eligible. And it's on all the plans except for GI, like we mentioned. And it's in every state that we do business. So it's our standard accelerated death benefit rider, hasn't changed all that much. Now on the other side, the charitable giving rider, this is kind of brand new for us. I think I saw only one other competitor in the entire marketplace has something similar to this. So this is kind of unique to us. It really aligns with our mission and vision. So we're kind of excited about this. It's available on all the plans, all the ages. There's no premium for it. And basically all it is at time of EAP or when you're filling out the app, there's a section in the middle there that just says, which charity would you like to leave the face amount, the additional death benefit to? Right now we have 6 to choose from. we're going to review those every year going forward, and I'm sure we're going to add more to them as we go down the line. But this is kind of a starting point for us to kind of see how it goes. And basically all this is it's just an additional 1% that would go to whichever charity that you choose. So the insured gets the full death benefit, and then on top of that, we give 1% to the charity of the choice. So just an additional 1%. All right. So before I slide over the underwriting, that's kind of a lot of the base and riders. Does anyone have any questions so far on anything?
Nope, all making sense, man.
Okay. All right. I'm just talking a lot. Thought I'd give you guys a chance to talk a little bit. So, all right. So let's slide to the underwriting here. So, one of the loudest, clearest things we heard from that agency group that we worked with at the beginning was, if you guys try to send something to underwriting for a refer, we're just going to pivot away and sell somebody else. So a refer is basically just like a incomplete, not taken, decline, whatever you want to call it. We're just going to leave. So we asked ourselves, how can we eliminate referrals to underwriting? So we kind of revamped our underwriting a little bit to the point where that's kind of the goal here. Appointed a sale decision on every client, and as virtually as little referrals as we can possibly do. So that's kind of what we were going for with the way we did our underwriting. So to do that, it did require a little bit of change in philosophy. So we used to have like 16 yes or no questions, and they were knockout questions. And then we also, we ran our RX profile in the background, and basically just came to a decision that way. What we've changed to a little bit here is it's still very similar, but now we're really trying to focus on risk and condition and trying to properly place the person in the best risk available. Okay. And how's that change for you guys then? So what it does is, in the past, since we didn't really dive into things maybe as much as we should have or could have, then we always had to be conservative. So if we thought that a condition might occur, then we would underwrite to essentially the worst condition that we saw. Now we're flipping that on its head a little bit. And we're, like I said, we're really trying to place the risk in the appropriate bucket. And therefore, we're really trying to relax our underwriting. And I'll take you through quite a few of the examples here on kind of why I say that. But just getting down into these questions again. So we still have 16 application questions, and I believe there's 3 of them that you might get an additional drill down question. So most people are only going to write the 16 questions. So we did that for efficiency, for time, to get through this as fast as possible. And then so only a small subset of people will have to maybe answer an additional question. And I have a screen. I'll kind of show you what it looks like. It's super simple. It's not like you have to go listing a bunch of things, but that is how we kind of design this to properly place the risk. Like I said, we still order RX on everybody. We've always done that. We'll continue to do that. One thing that we're kind of adding to this time is we're adding a 1-step verification at the end if the medical questions and the prescriptions don't align, right? So let's say you answer no to a question, but then on the prescriptions, it pops up that says, well, you've been taking a drug that, it points to this for the last 40 years. We're going to ask a verification question one time but we're just going to say, are you sure that, and then we're going to re-ask the question, are you sure you don't have COPD? Are you sure you don't have Parkinson's disease? And if you say yes, that's fine. We're just asking the question to kind of protect ourselves. So you might see an additional verification question come up at the end. Probably won't come up very often, but we are kind of using that to protect ourselves, like on the contestable claim side of it. So, all right. And then the last part is the height and weight chart, right? So we're one of the few carriers in the industry that has never required height or weight. And we're going to continue to be that carrier. We don't want to ask height or weight. That's not important to us like it is some others. But we are going to ask height and weight if you want the preferred class, and the preferred class only. Okay, so when it comes time, there's one question. When it comes time to it, if you want to try for preferred, then you got to answer the height and weight. If you don't want preferred, don't answer it. We don't care. Okay, if you do answer the question and you don't get preferred, we'll never use the data for anything else. Okay, so that's the only thing that we will ever use it for, is to try and get into that preferred class. Okay. All right. Now, just a couple of the changes I'd like to go over. Like I said, we had to move our underwriting around a little bit. We loosened it up in almost every stage of the way, except there's a couple spots here and there. So let me start with diabetes. So diabetes, we've always been known to be a pretty favorable treatment of diabetes in the marketplace, and I think that's going to continue here. So all diabetes without insulin in the past, the best they could do is standard. Now that class will be available for preferred. So that's a pretty good bump up as far as diabetes cases. On our end, we see that about 85% of the applications. So that's a huge part of that marketplace. And then diabetes with insulin and no complications will continue to get standard. And from our end, we see that's about like another 13% of it. So on our end, we're seeing about 98% of diabetes cases are either going to stay the same or get better, as far as an underwriting standpoint. And then we have the diabetes with insulin and complications, and that's where we have to take a little bit more of a look at it. So some of them, like neuropathy, and some of them where they have severe complications that may have caused a decline in the past. It's a very small amount for us, but those are likely going to qualify for graded in the new plan here. Okay. In addition to diabetes, there's a whole bunch of other conditions that we tried to improve upon as well. So COPD, Parkinson's, MS, epilepsy, all before it got graded, now they'll get standard. Okay. Stroke, aneurysm, cardiomyopathy always used to have an 18-month look back period. We reduced that to 12. A lot of look back periods for, like, I think there was like 4 questions that said, have you ever? We've changed that to in the last 10 years. So more lenient. And the last one is we just removed the angina question altogether. So I'll pause here for just another second. Anything that you're absorbing from an underwriting standpoint you'd like to ask about?
I've got no questions, but I'm glad you're talking about underwriting.
Okay. Yeah. Trying to talk about everything. So we'll see if I left anything out at the end that you guys can hit me up on. Okay. So I'm not sure how often you guys go out to like our agent portal, but we have a lot of information out there on this product. And a couple of the pieces of information I just wanted to share about real quickly as far as underwriting goes is I have a risk assessment guide and a bill chart, right? So these are just 2 pieces of data that you can just kind of keep in your back pocket, and it'll always show you, like the risk assessment guide will always show you based on a condition. So we have the condition down the side, and then we have the risk classes across the top. And it just basically will show you what risk classes you're eligible for with that condition. So it's just a nice handy dandy chart, so you can always know, okay, I can get preferred with this. Oh, the best I can do is graded. So, just refer back to that at any time, and that'll kind of help guide you to where you're trying to go, I think, on the conditions. And then, like I said, the bill chart, this piece here on the right, is this is our height and weight chart for preferred only. And this is just what it is. So we're just out in the open with it here. This is the height and the weight, and that's how you qualify for preferred. So not trying to hide anything, just trying to be upfront about it. But that is what our bill chart looks like. Right? All right. So just to recap a little bit, I'm not sure how familiar you guys were selling our old product, but this is just a little comparison of the old product to the new product. So in the past product, we had 2 risk classes, standard and graded. Now we have those 4. So we can go preferred, standard, graded, and guaranteed. We moved the risk classes up and down on each end. So 7 to 30 now goes from 5 to 40. We added the top end ages back in there. So 80 to 85 is available. And we added 3 brand new riders to the product. So that's kind of the overall base product and what it looks like. Now here's just a snapshot of the preferred class, for example. We did a lot of work to really try to be competitive in a lot of different areas, but we are super competitive on the preferred class. And so just take a quick peek here. This is an age 65 preferred non-tobacco, 35,000. And I'm not sure who you guys compete against as far as carriers, but these are, like our top 6 or 7 companies that we compete against or we hear about a lot. So Ascendo, Foresters, et cetera, et cetera. And you can see how competitive the rates are. We're considerably better than all the other groups at the top in this cell on a preferred basis. And quite frankly, this is how all the preferred cells look. So we're super competitive on the preferred class, and we're awfully excited to introduce that. I think it's going to be a good one for us. All right. The next one up is this is our state availability chart. So I'm not sure exactly where all you guys have agents across the country, but this is kind of a chart where we sell. So we still have like our basic 7 states that we don't sell in. So that's like Alaska, Hawaii, Massachusetts, New York, New Hampshire, those kind of ones. One thing that is kind of interesting to know, I'm not sure if you guys do any business in Louisiana or Alabama. We're actually going through some of the motions now to try to get licensed in those 2 states. So, I mean, these things go awfully slow with the states, but I'm hoping that like this time next year, we'll be able to sell in those 2 states as well. So we'll be able to color those green on the map. But this is where we can sell. This is where all of our products are available. And there's just one exception I need to make. So in the state of Washington, they get really weird about low face amounts and cash values. And so essentially we are not going to offer our graded or our GI in the state of Washington. So everything else is available, preferred, standard, and everything else is available nationwide there. But Washington has some weird hang up about low face amounts. So we weren't able to give that. So any questions at all here about states or anything I've talked about so far? I'm going to flip over to the application/writing process next. So
We do quite a bit of business in Alabama and Louisiana, so looking forward to that when it comes.
Good. That's one thing I've been asking a lot of people is it worth it if we turn those states on? So that sounds like yes for you guys.
Absolutely. And Alabama is a big final expense state.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
Even more so than Louisiana, but Louisiana is too.
Okay. Man, that's really good to hear. I will definitely pass that along. All right. So the next one up is the writing process, right? So at Royal Neighbors, we like to have 3 ways to buy. That's kind of our thing. We really focus most of our time and attention on the e-app. That's kind of the way we push people. All of the time and money that we spent to make that thing more efficient this time, that's all going to come through there. But we do like to offer the phone app and the paper app too, just a lot. You'd be surprised how many agents still like to write in various different ways. So we like to give people the choice to write however they want. Paper's down to like less than 1% of applications come in, but you never know where you're going to be. Maybe you're in a spot where the internet doesn't work or whatever else. So we do like to offer these all 3 of these ways to buy. But on go ahead.
Just for clarification on the phone app, that's just where the agent calls in and basically they take the app over the phone. Like the agent really doesn't have to do much in that situation, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yep. And so the e-app and the phone app still have the full point of sale decision process. It can be remote or face-to-face, that, all those kind of things. It has all the different ways to sign it. So those 2 are still very technologically quick and, efficient. And then the paper is just the paper app. So
what signature options are you offering on the e-app again?
Right. So on the e-app, you'll be able to sign electronically via like e-sign or DocuSign. You'll be able to have SMS text messaging to bring in and signing, or voice signature. So we're opening the whole thing up to essentially whichever one you want to do. So your choice.
That's amazing. That is great.
Yeah, I got one more for you that I think you might like as well too. So one thing that we found along the way is that a lot of times owner, payer, and insured aren't necessarily in the same spot. And that kind of caused us some pain in the past. So now there's a screen like as you go along where you get to say, where is the owner, insured, and payer with me if they're not the same person, obviously. And then the e-app is smart enough to offer each one of those their own unique signing experience. So if your brother Tom lives in Idaho and he's the payer, he can say, yeah, I'll just DocuSign this, just send it all over my way. Everybody else can just, do a different method. So we've really loosened that up and allowed everybody to kind of pick the method they want, and they don't have to be all in the same place at the same time.
Very cool.
Yeah. Okay. The one thing I did want to point out is all those things I was saying with the e-app for the phone app, that still requires those people to be in the same location at the same time. So insured, owner, payer has to be same place, same time. So that isn't nearly as slick, but we hardly put any time or effort into kind of updating things on the phone app. We spent most of our time with the e-app. So I'm not sure how often you guys use the phone app, but that is that one kind of holds you back a little bit on that one. But e-app is wide open and efficient and pretty slick. So
yeah, and with all those signature options, that's going to be a slam dunk.
Excellent. Good to hear. Okay. So in addition, like I was just saying, we spent most of our time and effort with the e-app. So we did try to build in a whole bunch of different efficiencies for time, for efficiency, and for making sure that all the apps are in good working order when they come in, so we can just place them right away. So these are kind of the 6 things, and I'll take you through each one of them here that we kind of tried to do here. So the first one is pre-fill key information on owners, payers, and bins. So let me give you an example here. So there's a whole bunch of public data out there available. And what we're trying to do is just use some of that public data to basically say, okay, we know who you are because you told us all about yourself on the early screens. And according to the data out there available, these are like the dozen people that are in your life that you might know about. Would you like to select any of these people as a beneficiary? And so you can either, check a box and say, yeah, I know Johnston right there. That's the guy I want to be my beneficiary. And then that screen's done and you move on. Or if you don't find anybody you like, then there's the screen at the bottom where you just go back and type everything in like you always used to. But all we're trying to do is kind of save, like another 3 or 4 minutes and not have to type all this stuff in. Another thing, because another thing we kind of heard is that, I don't even know this information about Johnston. He lives 2 states away and I don't know his social security number and I actually don't know his address. So this is just trying to be helpful to kind of key in some of the information so you don't even have to type it in. The next thing is the reflexive medical questions. I mentioned that earlier. So I want to show you guys just a little bit what this looks like. So I talked about how simple it was. It's just, like I said, it is simple. So you'll see on the top the COPD question, right? The yes or no. And then all that comes down is what you see here, a little drop down. So you just check the box. That's all it is. It's not 5 more questions. It's not typing in this. It's not putting it in your doctor. It's not doing all this. But again, what this allows us to do is, in the past, COPD was always graded death benefit. That was the highest you could get. But now 3 of these 5 classes on the bottom, now I can give you standard if you just tell me, what you have. So that's all we're really trying to get at, is just properly placing the risk. Okay. Convenient, unique signing experience for each person. So that's kind of what I just talked about that you brought up with the e-app. So here's the screen I was talking about. It's the agent report screen, and it literally just says, are you with the proposed insured? Are you with the proposed owner? And if the answer is no, then when it comes time to sign, it just offers up your unique signing experience for whichever of those methods that you want. So we covered them. It's e-sign, voice sign, text sign, all those kind of things. So it's just kind of a little example of how that does that. So, all right. Let's see. Okay, all forms are electronic. I think this one is actually something that really bothered us internally. We have like 26 replacement forms throughout the 45 states that we do business, and it is an absolute mess trying to get all those aligned with each other and asking the right questions and everything else. But bottom line, you guys don't really care about that. all you care about is that all those forms now are electronic, every single one of them. So there's no paper. You don't have to leave any paper. You don't have to get any paper signed. Every replacement form is electronic and just built into this process. Flexible premium options. So this is a couple things here. So sometimes the client likes to round up to a round number. So if your premium is, $32 a month, $32.87 a month, maybe they want $33 a month, or maybe they want $35 a month. So that is still an option on our product. And, it might be beneficial for a little bit extra commission for you as they round those up as well. But kind of the more important ones is the draft days are flexible going forward, so you can pick whichever day you want in up to 45 days in the future, and we still have the ability to tie that draft date to Social Security payment. So those are the two important things I think on the premium. And then the last one is ability to apply for multiple plans at once to reduce ANS forms. So this was another thing we heard. It sucks when you have when you quote something and then something changes along the way, and now we got to go through and sign an ANS form for every one of these. It's annoying and I don't want to do it. So we heard that pretty loud and clear. This one was trickier to get around because of the way that the states write specific laws. But here's the way we're attempting to do this. And I'm really curious to hear some feedback along the way from some of the agents on if they like this or not. So on the top of this screen, what plan are you applying for? So you put that in there, you put in your face amount and everything else. And then we come down to the bottom of the screen and it just basically says, if you don't qualify for what you applied for, would you be willing to accept those two options at the bottom? And then you just check the box. Okay. You don't have to check the box, but again, it's just offering up an alternative if you don't qualify for that main plan. And then so what happens is, then it comes time at the end here and says, okay, this is what you qualified for. Is this what you want? Or you didn't qualify for standard. Here's what we can give you ungraded. Is this what you want? And then same thing for a guaranteed issue. And then right underneath this, it allows you to change the face amount. It allows you to quote a new premium, to make sure that you're within the realms of what the client can afford, all those kind of things so that you can still customize the coverage. But by doing it this way and putting them all on the same screen and letting you choose like this, it eliminates all that stuff where you tried to get standard, didn't get standard, and now I got to go do all that ANS. So no ANS, this is what we're going with here. So like I said, I'm really curious to see how the field and how you guys react to this, because I don't know. This was our best attempt. So we'll see if you like it or not. All right.
That is really cool. I can't think of another carrier who lays it out simply like that, and then allows you to adjust it on the fly at the bottom as far as keeping the premium in the client's budget. So very cool.
Yep. Yeah, and like I said, so we got a lot of help from agents with this around ideas and what about if you try this? Can you get this through the state? And we went back and forth like 3 or 4 times. This is what we ended up with. So it is pretty unique. I don't think I've seen this out there either. Hopefully it's not too confusing, So like I said, we'll see. I don't know if the field force would like it, but this is what we went with, and we'll give it a shot here. So a lot of feedback on this one. I'd like if you can send those my way.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's the product and the process. So now it comes time to quoting. How can I get information about this thing? Right. So again, out on our agent portal. So again, I'm not sure how often you guys go there, if you even know anything about it, but this is one screen we have out there. Down the dashboard side on the left, you can see kind of quoting and illustrations tools, and then it just kind of comes up in the middle. So the highlighted part is the screen you'd go to quote, and then there's the get a quick quote here at the bottom. So that's one method. We also have up here our old www.rnaquickquote.org. So a lot of people take that and bookmark it and put it in their browser. So that's a second way to get your hands on quoting information. In addition to that, we also have our mobile access quick quote. So that one is, for iOS or Android phones. We have an app out there for both of them. So you can get quotes out on there. Also, Ninja Quoter, FexQuote, whatever your favorite quoting site is, our rates are out on there. So those are kind of the 4 methods. You can kind of get quotes, kind of all over the place. So hopefully one of those will work for you guys. Now, a couple things in particular about the Agent Mobile app that I wanted to just point out here. Not sure if you've used this in the past or not. We did add a few things this time. So we added all the riders to these. So in the past, for some reason, I don't know why we didn't have riders on here, but we do now. Now you can email, you can do one of these quotes and then email the quote directly to yourself or the client, either way, if you want. And also this thing handles completely independently of an internet connection. So once you download it to your phone, if you're in the mountains in West Virginia and you don't have any internet access, you can still quote. So you can use this anywhere, anytime you want. Okay. All right. And then there's like the last 2 screens I want to talk about is just where can I go to get all this information? So again, out on our agent portal, under that same kind of section there, we have something called our digital toolkit. This kind of screen here, this location is kind of where we house everything to do with this insured legacy final expense product. So you'll see an agent training guide, product profile, you'll see the case series, you'll see a prospecting letter, a training video, everything you could possibly want, I think communication wise, we have put out here. So all this is available, including one more thing in particular that I want to point out. We have some sandbox training out here as well. So this is your opportunity to go out to this sandbox training and just kind of do whatever you want with it, right? Look at the app, mess around with it, make dummy cases and just see how the questions work, see how the screens work. I think the quoting tool is in there, so you can bounce around with that, but just mess around with it, get yourself comfortable with it and see, see if you like it. See if you want to use it or not. So that's our sandbox training out there. And then that's actually all I have for you guys today. So that's the product. We have our sales support area that you can always call or email. This has been around for a long time. Feel free to call or email or ask them any questions you want. And then essentially, how do I get started? So we kind of recommend maybe reviewing some of the training materials in that digital toolkit, maybe writing a couple in that sandbox, and then I think you're ready to go. And this QR code here on the screen, if you want to take a snapshot of it, will actually take you out to the portal and take you directly to those areas, if that's something that you want to do. So that's all I have for you guys today.